let's do this. We are going to get to our next guest. Ian is going to join us here in just a few minutes. We will go to Ian. As we hear the Skype sound. We have the Skype sound. There's our guest.
Hey, James.
How are you, my friend? Welcome.
How are you? Thanks a lot for having us on the show.
You know, you've got a keyboard behind you, which is good, because I interviewed a guest earlier by the name of Mark Mangold, and we were talking about the fact that there are not enough keyboards in music nowadays. So good on you for having a dang keyboard behind you. So go ahead and tell me a little bit about your musical background, latest project, all these things. Kind of educate the listeners here, my friend.
Yeah, okay. My name's Ian Harling. I live in the UK. I'm a vocalist in an electronic band called Perpacity. I work with a guy called Martin Nyrup who lives in Denmark. We've worked together for maybe 8 years now, and we're just finishing up our 5th album called Discordia, which is going to be out by the end of the year.
That is awesome. So, how do you get linked up with your artist there that you guys are working together? I just find that fascinating.
Well, it was really strange. We knew each other. We were both working in the games industry for years. He was a musician, and I was doing games graphics. And eventually we stayed in contact, and eventually we started writing books on psychological magic. Have you heard of mentalism, that kind of stuff?
That
he
is
uses
fantastic.
hypnosis and suggestions, stuff like that.
That is fantastic.
We wrote a few books on mentalism together, and that lasted for about 8 years. And then one day Martin said, I write a bit of music. How about we get together and do a couple of tracks and see what happens? And we did, and it seemed to click straight away. We've got slightly different musical taste, but we hit it off straight away. It was good. It happened.
That is awesome. Well, I would love to, at some stage of the game, have you back and maybe get him on the old Skip Skype as well, and we can talk about the whole mentalism thing, because that would be pretty damn amazing. So this music, tell me a little bit about just your musical heroes, influences, the whole thing.
This is the thing with us. Both Martin and I, we have bands that we like, but we try not to be influenced. You see, if we're playing basically electronic music, but the trouble is that if you stay within your own genre, you can get stuck there. Do you know what I mean? You can just see your own little bubble. So what we do instead is we just play what comes out. You can never choose what you're going to play. You can never choose what you're going to write. You know what I mean? So
that is awesome.
we used to try an awful lot at the beginning to we say, okay, we're going to write a really heavy song now. It's going to be really dark and nasty. But you can't do it. You've got to go with, what's inside and what comes out of you. And we learned a long time ago to just let go and just write the music that comes out. We do like, obviously there are bands that we like. We both like Florence and the Machine, The Cure, bands like that.
That's
well,
awesome.
I like, my tastes are more really Irish music, like Clannad, Cranberries. And he's more on the electronic side. But we come together, when we do music, we just kind of hit it off. It's good.
That's awesome. So, tell me about your latest collection of music.
Yeah, this is going to be different. This is in line with what I've just been saying. Over the years, it's becoming harder and harder for us to categorize our own music because we are letting go so much. I mean, there's even a track on the new album called Halls of the Fallen, and it's got a very strong beat, but it's got kind of a folky feel, And I ended up singing a bit of Danish in it. I was probably pretty bad at doing the Danish, but and it's come out really well. We just go with whatever happens, and it's the only way for us, we feel, to progress and not get locked in anywhere.
That is fantastic. We just got to go with whatever happens.
Yeah.
I think that is awesome. Like that is fantastic. So, do you guys have websites or social media or whatever, so people can reach out to you guys?
Oh, you're not going to ask me. www.perpacity.com. That's awesome. The main site. We're on Bandcamp. We're on every track that we've had, every album we've had. You get them on Amazon, every we can get, every retail site. But yeah, we've got a main site, which is perpacity.com.
So
I've got to ask you. Yeah, what's right?
how did you guys come up with this name?
I knew it.
Because I'll tell you, I looked, I often refer to myself as Jiggy Jaguar, the ugly American, because I screw up so many names. I screw up so much of the English language. It is amazing, my friend.
I've got to say, though, you pronounce Perpacity correctly. We've got guys over here, DJs, and they go, Papacacola. Just they don't know how to pronounce it. You do really well. It means Perpacity is kind of, it's something that some films and music has. It's kind of an underlying strangeness, kind of a darkness. But I've got to say, I was checking out some of the bands that you've interviewed in the past.
Oh, boy.
You know what I'm going to say? You recently did I Wrestled a Bear Once.
I wrestled a bear once. Myself and the fantastic Ross the Boss, the rabble-rousing ringleader. We interviewed those guys at a place called The Blue Goat in Salina, Kansas. And I think that's fantastic. You watched our interview with I Wrestled a Bear Once.
If you can think of the name, that is just the point.
You know what is amazing is Ross, my buddy Ross, he's a big Elvis mark. So he's huge into Elvis. So when we get ready to interview some of these bands, he's like, what in the world? Why are they called I Wrestled a Bear Once? And it's just some of the things that happen. I think that's awesome that you watched that. That is amazing.
Oh God, yeah, but they're so good. I checked them out on YouTube, and they're all really good musicians. They've got a hell of a good drummer.
Yes.
You've got a really active music scene over there. Kansas is somewhere to be, isn't it?
Ironically, over the years, I have started to realize that apparently Kansas is the place to be. I don't know why. I've been trying to get the hell out of this state for like 10 years. but I will have to say that you have hit it on the head, my friend. That there is a lot to see and do. In fact, we did stuff at the Blue Goat. Then we eventually ended up going to a place called the Muse Ballroom, which was owned by a guy by the name of Johnny Kim. He is an Asian gentleman. He could not pronounce his J's, so he did Z's. So he often referred to me as Ziggy. Oh, Ziggy. And he would bring in all sorts of different bands. And now we are at a place in Hutchinson, Kansas here called the Red Shed. And it's literally a red shed. It's in this guy's backyard. And he's had all sorts of world-famous musicians through there, blues artists, all sorts of people. And they just did a comedy night where they had a sold-out show with like 250 people there. Wow. What they do is they have a food truck, or they do hot dogs and then take a donation. That's the food. It's BYOB, so people can just bring their own alcohol.
That's just
they have a stage. They have fantastic stage lights, the whole 9 yards, and it's amazing. I used to do a show in the United Kingdom with a gentleman by the name of DJ Dan. We used to be on, what the hell was that called? Son of a bitch. What the hell was that called? We were on a station it wasn't Nottingham. It was...
Northampton?
No, let me see if I can pull this up here. It was quite a deal. Just amazing stuff. And what we used to do is we used to do this thing called International Live. And what we would do is Dan would find a European artist, and I would find an American artist, and we would interview them, and we would do 30 minutes with one and 30 minutes with the other.
Sure.
And it was quite the interesting little deal. I wish we were still doing it, but Dan is, as I always like to say, he's gone off into the woods. So I don't exactly know what happened to DJ Dan, but he is.
How long have you been doing the DJ stuff for?
Oh God, I've been doing this crap since 1993. I've been, at some point it's kind of like my I had a program director that I worked at a radio station one time, and he told me that he'd been doing this ever since God was a baby. So that's at some point that's probably what I'm going to end up doing.
I mean, how do you begin something like this?
Actually, I heard a local radio DJ, and I thought he was an idiot, and I thought I could do better, and so I started doing all this.
I like your honesty.
So, I found the information here. We used to be on a station, 107.5 FM in Leicester.
Oh, England. Leicester, okay. I'll look it up. I'll check it out.
We used to be on Leicester. Their website. Let's see if it still works. I don't even know if it still works. Leicester FM was their.
Oh wow! Okay.
LeicesterCommunityRadio.com is their official website. So
I'll check them out.
But yeah, we used to be on there, and we had all sorts of, really, really interesting things. So it was quite the deal. But so what has been the reception to your music?
It's been really good. When you start writing music and sending it out, you don't really have much of a clue how people are going to accept it, how they're going to take it, because you're in this little bubble of writing, and at first you're quite scared of letting people hear what you're doing because you don't know what the reception is going to be, because what we're doing has turned out to be slightly different from what everybody else is doing. You've got over here, we've got chart music, which has one sound, and then rap and all the rest of it, and we don't really fit with all the usual genres.
All the rappers. All the rappers, my friend.
I know.
Kansas has a lot of rappers.
I'll tell you what, you've been in this business. You've been in the business a long time. How do you feel about the way that music has started to compartmentalize so much now that everything sounds the same? Music has started to sound the same for the last, 5-10 years.
You know something? I was watching one of these channels on this thing called Pluto TV. And I was watching 80s music videos on Friday. And I ended up having a chat earlier today, this exact same conversation with a gentleman by the name of Mark Mangold. Music was great in like the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. And then the 2000s, it's just like somebody went, fuck it. And it was over. And now everything sounds the same.
Yep.
All the rappers are little this, little that.
Rap's been around for 40 years.
There's now the big thing is the guys on TikTok with the tattoos all over their faces.
Yep. Yep. The vocoder.
I just don't know what the hell happened to music, my friend.
No. This is the thing. I mean, early on, music did have individuality. We were having lots and lots of original songs, and then suddenly it all went to hell, didn't it? It was strange.
Yes. Yes. I don't know what happened, but it's the same thing with radio here in the United States. I love to beat radio over the head with a with a mallet every chance that I get. So yes, radio, music, it's all gone to hell.
I mean, I used to live in the Isle of Man. Sorry, go on.
Did you say Vince McMahon? He's kind of gone to hell too.
No.
WWE though might be in a better place now that Triple H is in charge. But go ahead, my friend. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I used to live in the Isle of Man.
The Isle of Man. That's amazing.
Yeah.
How do we go from the Isle of Man to Vince McMahon? I don't know. Go ahead, my friend. The Isle of Man. Is that anywhere near the Isle of Wight?
No, actually, that's down at the bottom of England. The Isle of Man is in the Irish Sea off to the top left.
Okay,
And
because we used to have a super fan by the name of Ian Clay who lived in the Isle of Wight.
Really?
Yes, he somehow discovered us on the internets, and
You seem constantly bemused by what you find.
it is interesting. Just all sorts of things happen here.
Life's good, isn't it?
Well, I'm amazed that you found I wrestled a bear once.
Oh, but come on, you can't forget something like that, can you?
What other interviews have you watched of mine that have piqued your interest?
I've seen a couple. Through a haze of vodka. Obviously.
Okay.
And but it's been good. It's been interesting because these people. I tell you, there's a real difference between people in America and people here. Here, you point a camera at somebody, and they go and freeze. Over there, people have something to say, and they say it well. And usually, most of the bands that you've spoken to, you know, they come across, they speak about the music well, and they're really interesting people. Over here,
well, I hate to say this, I don't just interview bands. I interview porn stars. I interview all sorts of people. If you ever get a chance, look up Jiggy Jaguar and Exotica, which is EXXX, of course, because it's 3 X's, because it's a porn industry. Exotica. I think it's OTCIA, something like that. But look up my interviews with people from the porn industry. It's a wild time, especially the Exotica ones, because I wear Christmas-themed suits. A lot of them have cats on them or Santas.
Nice.
So
nice quality.
I have all sorts of interesting things going on.
Would you rather be doing TV?
You know, I've done TV. We have a deal. I have done several TV shows that have all been. I've done how we all got started doing this stuff with these bands. Is we had a cable access show called Jiggy Jag TV, and I interviewed all sorts of people. I tried to offend people to get canceled. We had all sorts of things. We had a guy, and you need to look him up as well, Bruce on the Loose.
Bruce on the Loose. Okay.
Bruce on the Loose. He was this guy. He's still alive, which is amazing. During the day, they would give that guy a chainsaw, and he would chop down trees. He worked for the city as a tree guy.
Yeah.
At night, he would go get blasted drunk at the Blue Goat. And he sometimes would be in interviews with me in bands. Or he would go out front and he would smoke cigarettes and he would dance. One time he got so drunk he lit his beard on fire. He's out of his mind. Bruce on the Loose.
Wouldn't you prefer to be people like that? Do you know what I mean? You don't want to be boring. You don't want to
be boring. No. You don't want to be boring. Bruce, one time, we were talking. I don't know how this got started, but I've loved this quote and I use it all the time. He was talking about women, and he goes, "Every time I get a little bit closer, they get a little bit further away." So he is amazing. So we have interviewed some characters over the years. Let's see. Besides Jiggy Jag TV, I had a political show at one point where I was interviewing politicians, which was kind of an interesting deal. But yeah, I've been all just craziness. You
see, the thing is,
it's so much fun.
The interview thing seems to be it for you. You like interviewing people.
I do like the interview. In fact, we and I don't know, if this will trigger anything, but a couple of years ago, we drove 7-8 hours or whatever, because I had to go to Colorado Springs, Colorado, because Adrian Paul from the television show Highlander was there. And I had to go meet Adrian Paul. So we went and interviewed Adrian Paul, and I took a samurai sword and had him sign it. So it's hanging up somewhere here in the confines. But
You see, it's good as a vehicle, isn't it? You get to meet people.
well, that and like I told an uncle yesterday, I also get into events for free. I will never pay to get into things. If I don't get a press pass, I'm not going. That's just the way it is.
Is it free food, free alcohol? I'm there.
You know, I had a group go to a and I don't know if you've heard of the music festival Rocklahoma.
Yeah.
We had some gentlemen go cover Rocklahoma last year, and that's pretty much what they did. They got free food, free alcohol, the whole 9 yards while they were there. But
it's a good life, man.
It is a good life. If it paid just a little bit better, we'd all be good. But you guys are making some incredible strides with your music. What is next for you guys as musical artists?
Next for us is trying to be better. The thing is about when you really seriously, I mean, the thing is when you're doing music, you do an album, it's finished, and it's just about to come out, and then you listen to it, go, and you think, well, I can do better than this.
Yes.
I want to be better than this. You know. So the next one, that's what we're about. We can't ever think that we've never thought that we were good. Do you know what I mean? We just think that
we've never thought we were good.
We always think that we're learning, and that's the case. We've been playing music an awfully long time, but it's a long journey, and it's probably going to be another 20 years before we start writing the kinds of music that we want to do. Do you know what I mean? But it's a great journey. It's really exciting to be a part of this. You know?
It is. It is. Well, I need you to send me an email when we get done here and let me know kind of what your schedule is like, because I would love to have you and your tag team partner there back on to talk about your books and everything that you guys do.
Oh, that's really good of you.
I think that would be fantastic. We'll get.
He's foreign though. He's Danish.
Hey, that's fine. We'll get him on. We'll make him work.
Okay.
I'll get you guys on with my lovely co-host from the United Kingdom, IQ Al Rizzoli. He would love to talk to you. And this guy, Al Rizzoli, is interesting. He's originally from Iraq. He moved to the United Kingdom, and then every once in a while he'll sneak into the U.S. because he spent like some god-awful amount of money to get a green card a few years ago. So he comes to the U.S. and then he goes back over to Europe, and then he tells us about all the horrible, nasty things that are going on in the United States. So, but this has been amazing. You have been fantastic. Really enjoyed, thank you for doing this, my friend, and I will talk to you soon. Have yourself a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, my friend.
Thank you.
I will talk to you soon. Thank you, brother. There he goes, and that is amazing. That is quite the interview. We didn't even play his music. I'm fascinated by this man. I'm fascinated by the fact that he watched I Wrestled a Bear Once.